Welcome to Rewatch and Rank. On this channel, we rewatch older TV shows, provide a summary and opinion on the episode before ranking each episode against each other. Today's episode is Charmed, Season 3, Episode 12, Wrestling with Demons. The episode in a nutshell is just a brief reminder of what happens within this episode. So we open the episode on Daryl speaking to a man who he is convinced is going to die because his picture was in the Metro section, and over the past 4 days, everyone who's been pictured in the Metro section ends up dying, and he's trying to put the man into protective custody. However, the man refuses. So the sisters, who are working off of Phoebe's premonition, follow the man to the alley where he is about to get murdered, but the sisters manage to stop the murder. However, Prue realizes that one of the people attempting, like one of the demons attempting to kill the man, is actually somebody who used to be human and that she had dated in high school and who was like captain of the football team. She then becomes hell-bent on trying to save him, and we learn about the fact that there is a demonic academy which can turn humans into demons by basically beating out their humanity, and that the transformation is sealed when they are able to kill an innocent as their graduation exam. Basically, the sisters then stop his next attempt at a murder and bring him back to the manor for questioning. Prue lets him escape, and he runs back to Kelman, who is the academy headmaster, you could say, who basically tells him that he needs a new lesson, that he can smell his humanity on him, and the sisters decide to again follow Tom. They follow him to the underworld training center where Phoebe and Prue basically try to bluff a deal where they'll keep Tom frozen unless however, if they win the fight against these two wrestlers, then, Tom gets to go free and they do too. However, in the event where they lose, then they would die and obviously Tom gets to stay a demon. Kelman pretends to agree, but then while Phoebe and Prue are fighting in the ring with the wrestlers, he betrays them and basically stabs Piper, which unfreezes Tom, and then he takes Tom away so that they can go find his mother because that's the innocent that he wants Tom to kill to fully eradicate his humanity. The sisters, of course, eventually win their battle, head to the manor where they've had Daryl bring Tom's mom, and they arrive just before Tom and Kelman arrive. However, in the end, Tom is not able to kill his mother and ends up betraying Kelman, who gets stabbed by his own floaty ball things and gets stabbed in the neck before basically being vanquished. And of course, Tom's chevrons, which were showing his demonic transformation, then disappear, showing that he has returned back to being a human, and he most likely went off with his mother to live a happier human life. That is the main plot in a nutshell. Then we have a couple of side plots. One of the side plots is that Leo lost Piper's ring, which was actually their mother's ring that he was supposed to keep and then give back to her. And so in order to find it, her and Phoebe cast a lost and found spell. However, that spell ends up bringing back everything that has been lost, including their Graham's old dog, who had been lost for 7 years, all the socks they lost in the laundry, fill up the laundry room. The pencil drawer, it becomes overflowing with pencils that were lost. Phoebe's hair that she had dyed because she dyed it in the sink. She found her original hair color again. We do find the wedding ring. And then eventually it escalates to the point where even lost souls are found, which end up feeding on Kelman's soul when he's vanquished. And then, of course, at the end, they have to reverse that spell, and they reverse it so that it sends back anything they didn't want to find, which then allows Piper to keep the ring that they did want to find. And then her and Leo go out to dinner, with her now wearing her mother's wedding ring as her engagement ring. And then the last subplot of the episode is that in previous episodes, Phoebe has told Leo about Cole, but in this episode, she finally confirms to her sisters that Cole is back, like, well, not back, but is alive. And she first tells Piper, who then encourages her to tell Prue, but she's reluctant to tell Prue until they're about to enter into the ring. And then, because they might die then, she decides that is the time that she is going to tell Prue that she let Cole live. And Prue basically is very disapproving because she lied to them, same as Piper, but ultimately it does not lead to any sort of major conflict, just disappointment. And that is our episode in a nutshell. So now that we've been reminded about what happened within this episode, it is now time to rank the episode. As a reminder, we rank on two separate lists. We rank on our mostly objective ranking list, which uses set values, though bias and judgment still apply in what applies to the episode. And then we have the personal ranking episode, which of course is just based on my opinion. So we'll start with our mostly objective rank values, and I highlighted those I felt applied to this episode. So we start with our single episode supporting character introductions, and in this case, we have Tom Peters, who was the high school captain of the football team that Prue dated, who apparently was going to go pro, but during his rookie season, he blew out his knee, which ended his career prematurely, and of course led to him being depressed and in financial strain, which is what Kelman took advantage of in order to recruit him into the Demonic Training Academy, which brings us to our second character introduction, which was Kelman, who was the headmaster of the training academy, who sets the sisters up to die, though ultimately ends up failing because he prematurely thinks he won and actually like exits the scene, which means once they beat the wrestlers, they're able to drag Piper up to the out of the underworld so that Leo can heal her. Essentially, they're all fine, and he actually is quite surprised when he goes to the manor to kill Tom's mom to find that they are all there because he was so sure that he had won and they would be dead by this point. So that brings us to 2 points. We then have our multi-season main character growth, which is Phoebe finally deciding to come clean about Cole and tell her sisters the secret that she has been keeping that has been bothering her for several episodes now. And that's worth 4 points. And then the final positive, worth another 4 points, is the world building, which is the fact that we learn that mortals, regular humans, are able to become demons and enter a demonic training program that will strip them of their humanity and demonize them. We also learn the existence of a training academy or academies that will recruit humans in distress, make a, as Leo puts it, Faustian deal to basically sell their humanity in exchange for financial support or a better life or whatever it is that they're wanting. And in the end, have their humanity, again, trained out of them so that they can then become demons. And the change is not complete until they kill an innocent. After that, there is no going back, which of course is a common theme in the series. Which brings us to 10 points on the positive side, but there are a couple of negatives. So the first one is that I felt that there was a regression to Prue's character in her hypocrisy. So Prue spends this entire episode trying to save her ex-boyfriend, who she's not even together with or in love with, because she's decided that he is somehow an innocent despite his choice to willingly enter into a demonic training program to become a demon. Yet somehow she's so disapproving of Cole, who arguably is better because he did not choose his demonic half. He was born half human, half demon, and he does legitimately have a human half, which can go either way, be good or bad, and he actively chose good in the end versus, the demon, he didn't choose that. That's part of his nature. That's how he was born. That's not something that he could help, and that was something that he actively chose to fight against. Versus Tom, who was human, chose to turn evil, chose to enter the program, chose to go through the training, chose to attempt to kill the innocents, chose to lead the witches back to Kelman so that they could be killed, and even though he knew Prue. And while in the end he did choose to reverse that and did end up killing and betraying Kelman, arguably Cole is better, and I feel like Prue is an extreme hypocrite for being all against Phoebe for trying to save Cole and for wanting to save Cole when she's going so hardcore to try to save Tom. Which brings us to our other negative, of course, which is the weak or dislikable supporting character. And this, of course, is Tom. Like I said, he made all his choices. He had free will. He was a human. He was immortal. He did not have the benefit of it being his nature. He was born human. He made the choice to be evil. He made the choice to make a deal. He made the choice to go into training. It was all his free will and his choice. He was not an innocent in any sense of the word. Everything that he did, he chose to do. So maybe he fell on hard times. Okay, that doesn't mean that you have to become morally bankrupt and corrupt just because you fell on hard times. I'm sorry you don't get sympathy for that. So, yeah, he was very dislikable. And again, I think it's just a bunch of hypocrisy that everyone's like all against Cole, who literally had no choice and actively fought against his own nature to be a better person for Phoebe, which is what convinced her originally to save him. Yet Tom, who actively chose to become evil because it was the easy thing to do, is somehow the innocent that needs saving and is acceptable to save. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. And Tom isn't even that likable. Just he doesn't have that much charisma anyways. So I think he deserves the -4 points for that. And Prue the -1 for the regression. But anyways, that brings us to a 5 out of 10 for this episode on our mostly objective ranking. And so our mostly objective rankings for season 3 so far are as follows. We have The Honeymoon's Over, Magic Hour, Sleuthing with the Enemy, All Hallowell's Eve, Coyote Piper, Blinded by the White Lighter, Once Upon a Time, We All Scream for Ice Cream, Power Outage. This episode, Wrestling with Demons, comes in 10th, and then we have Sight Unseen, and then Primrose Empath in 12th. So it may have been no surprise, but I didn't really like the main plot of this episode. I felt like it was pretty weak. I felt like it was like a kind of bit of a hypocritical messaging going on. I felt like they put all this effort into saving Tom, who actively made a choice to be evil, whereas they can't forgive Cole. And like Prue even was like, well, Cole tried to kill us, and it's like, when? Honestly, the Triad kept sending other people because he wasn't actively trying to kill you. And even when he did show up, he was possessed by the spirit of rage as Balthazar, or he was trying to steal the book without attacking them, like, at all. He, like, literally shimmered away every time they came near him. So really, he didn't actually attack them at any point in the 3 months he was trying to kill them. In fact, he ended up falling in love with Phoebe. So personally, yes, he was sent to kill them, but he did a shit job of it because he did not want to. So I think they're being a little bit dishonest with themselves there. And again, he actively fought against his evil side for Phoebe because he fell in love with her. So unlike Tom, Cole actually had a thing, which does piss me off a little bit more because Phoebe, when she's confessing, says she made a mistake. She regrets saving Cole. She shouldn't have saved him. And it's like, what has changed? He never really attacked you guys. Yes, he was plotting against you, but He didn't actually do much as far as actively trying, like at all. The tribe kept sending other people, and he even actively saved them a couple times, like against the invisible demon. He made everything cold so he wouldn't succeed. With the spirit of rage, he had the perfect opportunity, had them vulnerable, couldn't do it. When he tried to steal the book, again, he shimmered out as soon as they came in. He didn't even attack them. When he did arrive possessed after being unpossessed, he basically again ran away. Then he was being chased by the bounty hunting demon, which then Phoebe, of course, like the worst thing he did was kidnap Phoebe to take her to the crypt to get away from the bounty hunter demon. Like that was the worst he did. So this whole Cole is so evil and Cole did so many bad things and tried to kill us and oh my gosh, I've changed my mind. I shouldn't have tried to save him even though he didn't do anything wrong to me and he hasn't even done anything to me since he left like he said he would and has kept his end of the bargain and isn't hunting us anymore. Somehow now he's like even more evil than he was then. Like what? I don't get it. I know Cole is a bad guy. He is part demon, but so far I think he has behaved in a way very contrary to what his nature would indicate it should be, and more in line with his human half. And again, I find like this entire main plot is hypocritical. And then the subplot, I don't understand Phoebe how she came around to the idea that, she should have killed Cole at this point. Obviously, in future, things do change. We'll talk about that when we get to those episodes, but at this point in time, one hasn't done that much to them. Since faking his death, he has disappeared and not come back, as he said he would. And he hasn't done anything evil that would indicate to her, like, why would she change her mind about him at all, or regret that decision? I don't understand. They have not made it clear to me as an audience member why Phoebe has changed her mind and what Cole has done to make that happen when he hasn't been around because he kept his promise and stayed away just like he said he would. Like, I don't know. Justice for Cole. I think he's being very unjustly judged here, especially against Tom, who again chose to be evil, exercised his free will to actively become evil. Way worse. Way worse than Cole, who's just in his nature and he has to fight against it. Like, he was born that way. He didn't have a choice. Tom had a choice. That makes him worse, in my opinion. Did not like that at all. But the one redeeming thing about this episode that I loved was the lost and found spell and the cute moments with Leo and Piper, where Leo like orbs in late after they're calling him and they're like, "What's going on?" And he's like all awkward, like, "Well, actually, I lost this very important ring that belonged to your mother that I was supposed to give you." They do the lost and found spell. I love how all the things just kind of start showing up and filling the house from the spell, and then how that keeps escalating, the lost souls in the end, but all of the socks literally bursting the laundry room door open because there were so many lost socks over the years, the pencil drawer literally overflowing, the hair color changing back. I liked that subplot, and I liked the cute moment at the end where Piper gets her ring from Leo and then they head out to dinner. That's a cute little relationship moment. But ultimately, that's very minimal in the whole plot of things. I also like that Phoebe did now tell them about Cole because it was getting a bit much with her keeping it to herself for so many episodes. I'm like, you're dragging the secret on. At some point she's going to have to tell them, and I'm glad that it finally happened because if it had continued on much longer, I probably would have gotten annoyed. I did a little bit, but not a huge amount. I think they got it right before it was going to become annoying with her confessing, so happy that happened. But ultimately, not the strongest episode, not really a great episode. I decided to give it a 4 out of 10 on the personal ranking. And with that being the case, our season 3 rankings so far are in first place, Once Upon a Time, We All Scream for Ice Cream, All Hallowell's Eve, Magic Hour, Blinded by the White Lighter, The Honeymoon's Over, Sleuthing with the Enemy, Primrose Empath, Sight Unseen, Power Outage. This episode, Wrestling with Demons, is in 11th place. And then in last place, we have Coyote Piper. Which brings us to the final segment of the video, which is our series ranking so far. And on our mostly objective side, we have Season 2 being in first place with 75%, Season 1 in second with 73.18%, and Season 3 so far has garnered 93 points out of 220. Then the personal side, we have Season 1 in first place with 71.50%, Season 2 in second place with 56.82%, and then Season 3 so far has gotten 90 points out of the maximum possible score of 220. So with that, we've now rewatched and ranked Charmed Season 3, Episode 12, Wrestling with Demons. Like and subscribe if you'd like to, and I'll see you in the next episode.